Why is it that humans are afraid and we're taught that fear even exists, that is, the dark, boogeymen, governments, home invasions?
Because you were born with a sense of well-being, a really strong sense of well-being, but not practiced control of a vibration. You came to practice that vibration and to explore enough contrast to launch new desires. But the specific answer to this really good question is that when you want something good to happen and it doesn't, you try to, after the fact, explain why. And a logical sequence of thoughts leads you to believe that there must be some outside force that is preventing you from the good that you know you want. Because your logic tells you, if I am good and if I want good, then shouldn't I be experiencing it? And if you aren't, then your logic says then there must be someone, something that is interfering. And then as you look for that, you prevent the good from coming. And the more you prevent the good from coming, the more you look for that. And the more you look from that, the more you prevent the good from coming, until you convince yourself with the facts of the absence of the good that you're looking for, that there must be some source of darkness. So it takes a little while to reorient yourself back into your true understanding of well-being.
And
hold your thought, because our friend earlier was a wonderful depiction of something that we want to emphasize here in a dramatic enough way that you can all really feel it. When you really, 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 really want something that you're really, 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 really not getting, then you have to explain it in a really, really, really big way. It's sort of like that. It's sort of like that. And here's the bigger piece of that. Since every one of you is source energy, and when you get crossways of that, when you describe yourself as not good, or as not deserving, or as not worthy, when the source within you knows the complete opposite of that, the goodness and the possibilities and the worthiness, when you get focused there, there is a big discord that then you describe in really screwy and dramatic ways. That's the best explanation that we've ever given of that. And when you think about how illogical that is, how could that be? How could this earth continue to spin in its orbit? Have you looked around? Have you noticed the well-being that surrounds you? The continuity of things? The eternalness of that which you all are? You know, as bright as you are, you haven't managed to scrape enough dirt together and launch another earth into orbit. You know there's something way bigger going on, you see. And when you get crossways of your understanding of the goodness of that bigness, then it's a pretty big, our friend described it perfectly earlier, that kind of bouncing out of the vortex will take you to your knees.
If Abraham can give any insight, it's on one side, as you bring it up, looking around us, it seems that the clinging to a fear drives so much of daily policy, whether you look at it from not wearing your seatbelt, when you look at it from how to be a better teacher, a better student. Right. Everyone in this room is both.
We want to use
why is it there?
We want to use different words than clinging to your fear, because your fear is the indication that you're clinging to something that the source within you doesn't cling to. In other words, the source within you holds steady to the knowledge of your brilliance and your goodness. And when you find a thought that is contrary to that, fear is the resulting emotion. So it's not that you're clinging to fear, it's that you're clinging to ideas that defy what you really know. And clinging, let's use a different word, law of attraction, is helping you maintain those, because when you activate it, you're getting more like it. When you get more like it, you observe it. When you observe it, you get more like it. So an understanding of how things work is where your freedom is, isn't it? Since words don't teach, don't you want to try some thoughts that feel better and then watch how the grid fills in? That's the only way that you're ever really going to know for sure. Because you can't take anybody else's word for it, because you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what their vibrational point of attraction is, other than by the evidence of what they're living. So you've asked a really significant question. How can I live in a world where there are things unwanted that I might observe? How can I not let those obvious, observable things affect my vibration? And we say the only way is by caring about how you feel enough to then contour what you're willing to observe. And once you start making the correlation that if you observe it, it's active in your vibration. If it's active in your vibration and you continue to observe it, it's going to become active enough that the grid's going to fill in with it. And when the grid fills in with it, it doesn't mean that there's something outside that's filling in your grid. It means that you in your sloppy gridding, it means you in your sloppy focusing, it means you not using your guidance system in the way you intended, are practicing vibrations that are perpetuating and keeping things going that you don't want, you see. It's so lovely once you get this, because then everything that everyone's living makes sense, because their conversation equals what manifests. And you want to say, well, don't talk about that, because it keeps equaling what's manifesting. And they don't believe it. They sort of believe, like you were talking when you first sat down, they believe that there's outside things that are happening that they need to fear and guard themselves against and protect themselves from. And so there's this philosophy that if I can push hard enough against this thing I don't want, that I will be able to obliterate it, and in its absence there will be well-being. Except you can't push hard enough against it, because the more you push on it, the more you focus on it, the more you activate a vibration, the more you create a grid, the more that comes to you. It's so liberating to finally get control of your own grid. And the only way you get control of your own grid is by making the association between how you feel when you're doing the grid work and then what fills in. And once you start making that association, then you're liberated. Then you can deliberately choose a thought. And we know sometimes it's hard to let go of those practiced thoughts. Beliefs are powerful. Beliefs equal your point of attraction. When you believe it, you're offering a steady vibration. And the reason you believe it is because you're offering a steady vibration. And since you're offering a steady vibration, the grid's filling in with it, and that's why you believe it. Isn't it interesting? So wait, do I believe it because it is, or is it because I believe it? It is because you believe it. It is because you believe it. And a belief's just a thought you keep thinking. So if you've got stuff happening that you don't want, then stop thinking it. But Abraham, I believe it. Well, stop it. The only reason you believe it is because you keep offering the vibration of it, and the law of attraction just keeps saying, well, this is what you believe, so here, have some of this. And this is what you believe, so here, have some of this. Is it hard to believe that you could change your beliefs? Or have you shown yourself that you can soften a vibration, that you can offer a different vibration than you offered before about something? What trips most people up is that they want a circumstance to change so that their belief can change. And we want your belief to change so that the circumstance can change. And we know that the fastest, most effective way to change a belief is to deactivate it so that it stops producing evidence that you focus on. And in the absence of the evidence, you have a chance to focus on something else. And that's really what going general is. Did we get to the heart of what you're reaching for?
You did.
So what do I do, Abraham, when I live in a world where there are so many people that are guarded against so many things? Well, don't be upset about them being guarded. Try to understand it. Well, they don't really understand the law of attraction. They don't really understand their point of attraction. And maybe I can demonstrate through the power of my example something different. And every now and again, someone will notice that things are different for me, and they might ask. And if I'm doing my grid work effectively, They will ask, and they will ask in an atmosphere of openness so that they'll hear what I'm saying. Words don't teach, but life experience does. So as you move through life, not guarded, and demonstrate well-being, then it might get someone's attention. But whether it does or not, you're free of the fear and the things to push against. Nothing ever comes into your experience that is not active in your vibration, ever. Ever.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. We've enjoyed this interaction more than words can explain, and we've been way out there on the leading edge. We want to compliment you on your willingness to sit and listen to us talk incessantly about the laws of the universe and about the emotions that move through you. We know for sure that as a result of your willingness to just listen, that your vibration has been moved to a different place than it was before we had this conversation. It only takes 17 seconds of non-diluted focus in order to shift vibration, and you have been giving far more than that. 68 seconds of holding yourself in a vibration of well-being will shift your vibration, your point of attraction, dramatically enough that that grid must fill in and must fill in today. So we're looking forward to the evidence that you will discover of this energy shift that has taken place as a result of this conversation. You could be unaware of law of attraction. You could have never heard of Abraham or the teachings of Abraham. You could not be making any effort to focus yourself into the things that you want. And you could live happily ever after, because it is the nature of this time-space reality that you live within. In other words, you don't need to know this in order to live well, nor do the people around you. But you are deliberate creators. And there is nothing more exhilarating for deliberate creators than to get your thoughts around what you can specifically do, how you can specifically mold the energy in order to get the results that you want. Because creators want to explore and decide and define the newness that you're reaching for. And then deliberate creators want to find a way of vibrationally allowing that which you've asked for. And nothing is more delicious than then allowing the universe to surprise and delight you in all of the ways that it will. It is our desire that as this grid fills in, and it will, it is our promise to you, that as it fills in, that you take note of the important part that you play in this deciphering process. We want you to feel happy about who you are and pleased that you have come to decide and to ask anew. We want you to feel the appreciation that Source feels for you in the part that you play here. If it were not for you out here on this leading edge, thought would not move beyond that which it is. That's big. If it were not for you participating with one another, you would not be creating vortexes that would be the nucleus or the starting place of the generations that are being born. If it were not for your willingness to explore the contrast and reach toward that which is new, there would be no expansion of the universe. In other words, the part you play is important. But not one of you said, I will sacrifice my joy to play this important role. Not one of you said that. And when you get back to the basics of caring about how you feel and reaching for these general feelings of well-being, you will be rewarded as you have intended to be with the manifestations that you have carved out of this time-space reality. Yes, of course, future generations are going to benefit mightily by your participation here and now. But you are supposed to benefit too, and now. And there is no joy that is greater for us to experience than your conscious acknowledgement of your alignment with that which is us. When you feel that joy radiating through you, we want you to know that what you've discovered is a path to the momentum of the joy that we all feel for you. And when you get there, stop and revel in that just a little bit and acknowledge the good job you've done of getting out of the way and allowing the joy that is natural to you.